Hey y'all, Rhyme of Outrag3's here, coming at you with another Post-Mortem attack. Today we're looking at Outrage3's attack, and I am helped today by a lot of analysis by AdamLH. One of our real strong attackers, one of the co-leaders. For a brief stint, he took over as leader. Real great guy. In his analysis, I learned a fair amount, and I'm going to be passing on that advice to you. So any of the real good advice probably came from Adam today. First off, I want to look at his Outrage's troop composition. You're going to notice he's got no wizards there, and this is going to present him a problem a little later in the raid, because he's going to use his minions to funnel instead of a wizard. Which is an interesting idea and can work real great if you've got no towers in range that can take out a minion. And I went through and checked out all the ranges. So I'm gonna kind of just give you the summary here, so we don't have to sit and look at all the ranges. But basically, a minion could safely take out this and this, maybe this. I forget there. And then could also, like, two minions could take out all these buildings by themselves without ever being in range of a tower that could hit them. So if you dropped, maybe 3 minions, one on that bottom side I think it's just going to get the 2 buildings. And then maybe 2 on the top side, one coming in here, and one about here, and one about here. And they would take down those buildings there, totally safe. You'd get some free percent, basically. I didn't check the backside, but maybe a little bit of cleanup back there would work too. But for your main raid, you really want to bring wizards, partly because they're the highest DPS unit in the game, at least a unit you can cook in your barracks and put in your army camps. Obviously the queen hits much harder, but you can't bring multiple of her. So you're going to want a couple wizards here to create your funnel. He uses minions, and they just take a little bit too long. They don't really get the job done quickly. They don't last around long enough to make much use, partly because this, after a few buildings, this AD is going to be hitting them, and the golem can't do anything about that to tank it. Okay, so that aside, and as far as the creative use of minions on the sides here, that is absolutely great. If I had been thinking about that for one of my later raids, I may have done much better in my attack. I could have taken out a few extra towers. There's some cannons that were exposed that I could have dealt with more effectively if I had thought about that in my raid. So I'm going to be watching for that when I come at this later. All right, so let's take a look at his attack now. He's going to do a real nice job of placing his golems. The minion funnel looks really good, but I think they were just, there was a better troop he could have used for that. Partly because this sweeper is just going to keep delaying and delaying his minions. And then right here, real nice job. He puts his wall breakers right between the golems, and out of range. Splash damage is hitting here, splash damage is hitting here. And his wall breakers are totally safe. So that's great. So real nice funnel, except for not bringing the whiz, and that's an easy fix for next time. All right, now here, this is something Adam pointed out to me. You don't notice it yet, but the Barbarian King actually went down too early. And I think maybe having the wizards here to clear out the rest of the side stuff faster would have made this a non-issue. But what's going to happen is his Barbarian King is actually going to get ahead of the golems because of how long it takes these archer towers to go down. Let's keep it rolling forward here. Zoom in a little. When he drops the jump, the Barbarian King right there moves forward to go get the Archer Queen, because she's now in range of his aggro. And he just skips over these buildings here, goes for the Archer Queen, draws the CC. You also notice the golems are a lot lower than they should have been, just since towers are still standing, since there wasn't damage from those wizards. He's going to get up in front, and then he's locked on. There's an X-bow, I think, hitting him. There is the Queen. The CC's about to drop on him. He's going to die incredibly quickly here. And also, he when he got up there, he threw the ability of the Barbarian King right as he got to the Queen. I think his goal was to kind of rage it, deal extra damage, which is a totally, use the Barbarian King ability for that. But let him take a few hits first, because I think he might have wasted the heal there. Alright, so we're going to watch this. Yeah, Barbarian King incredibly quickly is gone. And right there, you'll see the Archer Queen he just used the Archer Queen's ability there. Also, too quick, he didn't, you waste the heal that way when you pop it when they're at full health. I think the Archer Queen's ability doesn't add a whole lot of damage. I think it does add a little bit, and it gets you those extra archers. But the real huge thing that you want to use your Archer Queen's ability for is to stop the towers hitting her. It makes her totally, or not immune, but they don't target her anymore. And so what you do is you wait till things have locked onto her. She's lost, a little bit of health or a lot of health, depending. If you can avoid more damage by blocking it after just a few hits, say like you got a couple Expos targeted onto her, or an Expo and another good strong tower, you want to use it early so she just doesn't take the damage and kills them first. If it's something relatively weak pounding on her, you can wait a little bit until maybe more stuff is locked onto her, but make sure you get the heal in there. Anyway, so he used it early here. So he doesn't get the defensive bonus. I don't think he got any of the heal bonus either on the Archer Queen ability. And that's, we'll see in a sec here, that's going to cost him. As far as this kill squad overall goes, he got some good targets. He got the 1 AD that he really wanted. He got the Archer Queen. He's going to get the CC here, or almost get the CC. So he's good there. Oh, other thing, poison could have been dropped on top of the CC there. Yeah. So then here we go. Queen's got no ability. She's got no defenses left. She is all by her lonesome. This drag almost goes down. Anywhere in the last second or two here, if he'd hit the ability, that drag would be dead. Probably the cannon would be dead. And maybe he'd get a little extra, even more for it. But dragon lives tiny little bit. Poison goes down. Poison does not deal damage quickly. The big things you want to use poison for is it will over time take out a large group, but that means you can't use it on a moving troop. But it also slows down the attack speed, which maybe would have helped him win the duel with the dragon. Would have helped let him take out the loons before they got in range too, because it slows attack speed and move speed. Here we go. A few more minions go down, and we're on to the Loon part of it. Now, what he's done here is he's dropped one loon on, or one hound on this AD, and 2 hounds on this AD, and he's got both his hounds coming in basically the same trajectory. So there's a couple things here that could have been done better. First thing is you want to kind of cycle through your hounds so they rotate around the base. I'll get to that in a sec. I want to talk real quickly about dropping the hounds on top of each other. Even if you drop 2 hounds on the same AD, and I think that's a good idea to do in a lot of cases. If you drop 2 hounds on the same AD, you want to take them in at different angles. And the reason for that is that they'll soak up the traps so that your loons don't and your loons live. If you drop your 2 hounds in kind of at the angle I've drawn, or maybe a little bit shorter, so they catch any traps that are like right here. Yeah, scratch that. Looking at this, I'd send one in this way so you catch any traps behind the air sweeper. That's a relatively common pace. You send the other one at an angle like this so that it for sure goes to this AD, and it catches any traps that might be in this row here. You send them in a different angle, traps get soaked by the Lava Hound, and that's their job. They're there to take all the damage and let the loons do their thing and deal damage. So you send them in at an angle. Now the next thing is you want to take these ADs out one at a time. And you're going to send a hound in, or in this case, it's often good to start with 2. 2 hounds in. Take that out, send your loons in behind. Then as those loons start moving over to here, you drop another hound to soak in any traps. You're going to have, usually if you send in 2 loons at once, you're going to have an extra loon coming in over this way, clearing any middle traps and also helping tank the AD damage. And then, loons come in behind. And then we're going to send, and then by that point you should have one loon left. Your loons, because this is a low AD, you should have a hound left that comes over here. Ideally what you do is you bring one more hound than ADs that will be left over after the kill squad, so that you send 2 in on the first one and then have one more to supplement each AD after that you're going to take out. So that would be what I'd do. And I would probably come in from this AD first as opposed to coming from the bottom, purely because you don't have to deal with the sweeper that way. Now, what Outrage was looking at is he's seeing that this AD is weak, and he just wants to kind of forget about that one, take out the sides first. And that's not a bad idea, but I think it's probably, even with the low AD, a less effective strategy with hounds, with GoLaLoon, than rotating around the base in a clockwise or counterclockwise motion. So let's take a look at that. Let's we'll speed up, or let's go through here a little bit. Now, this Loon Drop. All of these loons he's just dropped, and maybe he drops another one. Yeah, okay, so all of these loons he's just dropped. Let's take a look at where they're going to go. He's set them up. They're all here. Closest here, cannon. Closest here, cannon. He's just dropped, I believe that's 7 loons, all on the same tower. Now, loons deal an incredible amount of damage once they get to the tower. Their big problem is it takes time to get there. So what you want to do is you want to drop just a few loons on each tower. 2 here, maybe 1, 2 here, 2 here. Adam told me the magic number is 2. 2 will take out towers quickly enough, and you don't waste any troops. 3 max on a single tower. Now, if he'd just taken these 7 and divvied them up, send 2 to the air sweeper, even 3 on the cannon, 2 on the archer tower, it would have still taken out those towers. It would have taken out those towers more quickly. He would have had more left over, and and then they'd move on to the next row. And as you get closer over here, you send in another 2 on the cannon. Maybe you send that one after you send the hound, or maybe before. I'd have to check the range of this AD right here. Or maybe you just say that's a weak AD and you ignore it. That's a bad idea. Forget I said that about ignoring it. But then you've used basically the same number of loons there, but you have an incredible amount more damage because they're not overlapping each other. Same thing over here. Once these hounds are done, one would probably survive if we dropped our loons that way. It'll move over here. You send in another lava hound. Send in 2 more loons, 2 more loons. I'd probably wait on that last one. And then once your hounds that survived, hound or hounds that survived, move over to here, you send in more loons, 2 at a time, 2 at a time, 2 at a time. And then this way you get kind of this sweeping motion where it takes out this portion of the base, moves in and over and out, and kind of squiggles around the base, slowly taking out everything. Alright, let's look at what happened. We've got that 7 loon drop. He's fortunate in that his minions the pups take out the dragon. And as I said earlier, we've got 1 hound left here. But in that time that it took the loons to travel, they've only killed 1 tower. They could have taken out the air sweeper and the archer tower at the same time if they'd been split up. They're going to move in like they do. They're going to go take out, and because they weren't dropped behind the air sweeper, he loses time there. On the opposite side, he's had a similar story happen here. I wasn't focused in there for the time that it happened, but he had 1 lava hound go in, take out the AD, and kind of fall apart. Which is what a single lava hound does. Is it dies pretty quickly, unless it's got support from another lava hound that was either traveling from another AD or that was dropped with it. His loons were a little better distributed here, so that they've kind of taken out more of the base. And they're gonna keep moving around, take out things. Part of his problem is this expo in the middle that was by the queen is still up, and that if the kill squad had worked a little bit better, he probably would have gotten that for his kill squad as well. And then over here, because he didn't rotate, that air defense is not real tough. but this X-Bow is. And so he needed his hound over there still. And at this point, he's just going to run out of steam on that back half of the base because he split up his lava hounds. Yeah, lots of real good things here. It was a good idea to, it was. I see the reasoning behind splitting the lava hounds to either side. The minions were an interesting idea to try. A lot of good pieces there. Just a few pieces that didn't work. Switch those around, and it should be a good attack. All right, thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully you've learned something. Thanks to Outrage for this attack, and thanks to Adam for his advice on some of those extra pieces about how to do a Loon attack, or a GoLaLoon in this case. Yeah. Anyway, hope it helps you out, and happy hunting in your next war.